Well, this is great. Okay, first of all, I want to thank everybody for coming out today. This is going to be a great day in the city of Fall River, and we'll get going with the ceremony right now. Again, I want to thank everybody for joining us for Fall River's first official recognition of Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, which is celebrated each May. We will be raising 5 flags behind me, which represent the 5 largest Asian populations in Fall River. Today we will raise the flags of Vietnam, Cambodia, China, Hong Kong, and India. I want to thank the Diversity Committee for organizing this ceremony, especially Jay Wong, former student of mine, a Fall River native who's the program director for the Massachusetts Asian American Commission. I'd also like to thank Paul Schmidt for joining us today, as well as Representative Carol Fiola, Representative Alan Sylvia, our Chief of Police, Jeff Cardoza, and a host of other dignitaries. Fall River is particularly strengthened by all of our diverse communities that call this city home. Today we're joined by a number of leaders, entrepreneurs, and dedicated citizens who have all made Fall River a better place to live and work. While the Asian American population in Fall River is relatively small, their impact is very impressive. They have contributed to our culinary scene, brought fantastic cultural events to the city, and traditions galore. They have chosen Fall River as a place to open their business and call home. I see in the crowd today we have the Wong family, who own the Oriental Chow Mein factory over, I think it's on 8th Street. Their chow mein is worldwide famous. But I would like to thank you all again for joining us as we take time today and for this entire month to officially acknowledge the Asian American community as well as an integral part of our city and their special identity. I also want to acknowledge a bunch of former Durfee students which are here today, and one in particular, Danny, back there in the blue hat. He coordinated last year a turkey drive at one of our housing developments that would knock your socks off. I was out there with him and Bobby Bailey unloading trucks and cars, and the people came up. It was a great thing, and we've already started working on some plans for some other events going forward. But with that being said, I would like also to introduce a young lady who's always had a prominent role in the city of Fall River. I count her as a friend. I want to present her with this citation and proclamation that as of today, I, the Mayor of Fall River, do hereby proclaim May 2021 as Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. I will now turn it over to my good friend, Jay Wong.
Thank you, Mayor Coogan. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jessica Wong, also known as Jay. I am a lifelong resident of Fall River. I currently serve as the program director for the Massachusetts Asian American Commission, a member of Fall River's Diversity Committee, and a full-time graduate student at UMass Boston. Firstly, I want to thank Mayor Paul Coogan for being incredibly supportive of uplifting the communities of color here in Fall River, specifically today, the Asian American community. I also want to recognize Elena Pavid and Bobby Bailey for being a huge help in organizing this ceremony. May 1st marks the beginning of Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. This month-long celebration is a chance to acknowledge the historic achievements of Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders and to highlight their undeniable impact on American history. From laying railroad tracks, tilling fields, and starting businesses, to caring for our loved ones and honorably serving our nation in uniform. Asian American communities are deeply rooted in the history of the United States. Fall River has a long history of Chinese immigration to the city, dating back to the early 1800s prior to the Chinese Exclusion Act. In the 1970s, my father immigrated to the United States, leaving behind his family in China in search of better opportunities. He chose Fall River as the place where he would settle and call his home. As a way to support himself and his family, my dad opened up his own restaurant called Ocean Palace on North Main Street. This restaurant was a core part of my childhood. I was that little 9-year-old girl standing behind the cash register, taking orders and making crab rangoons in the back with my dad. Some people may have found this to be foreign, but to me and to many Asian families, this was a way of supporting our families and caring for our families. This is also why we were able to spend time with our families, as restaurant hours are intensively long and our parents never had a day off. Aside from the restaurant business, my dad would lecture me on Chinese history and politics. Not only did he instill the work ethic that I have today, but he also inspired the passions that I have to uplift the Asian American community. Till this day, Fall River has become more diverse, with the Cambodian Americans sharing their rich culture every year at the temple in the Highlands, to the Vietnamese women making us feel beautiful at the nail salon, to the South Asians operating our local convenience stores in our neighborhoods. It is important for Fall River to recognize and support these diverse communities by giving them a platform to share their stories and experiences, educate our students on Asian American history in our schools, and welcome Asian Americans to have a seat at the table when decisions are being made that impact our communities directly. With the high increase in anti-Asian hate crimes, it is imperative that Fall River is intentional with becoming a more inclusive city. Over 3,500 hate crimes against Asian Americans have been reported in just this past year alone, not only throughout the United States, but right here in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Many folks in the Asian American community are feeling a lot of fear and pain right now. This is a critical time to ensure that we are recognizing this issue and protecting the Asian American community. Our communities need to be celebrated, seen, and heard. Thank you. And now I want to welcome our next speaker, State Representative Paul Schmid.
Thank you very much, Jay. And my goodness, I can tell you that the mayor is proud of you, as we all are. Let's give Jay a big hand, please. You are doing wonderful work here in Fall River, and you have done wonderful work on the Asian American Commission. So I'm here representing both the Asian Caucus in the Massachusetts House, as well as the Fall River delegation. Myself, Representative Sylvia, Representative Fiola, and Senator Rodericks, whose office is here. And I want to just explain to you that the Asian Caucus in the House of Representatives is now the most populous caucus in the House. We are now number 7 of us. So there are 7 people representing China, Taiwan, Japan, Cambodia, and Thailand. And that just indicates to me, and it should indicate to you, the diversity that Massachusetts is becoming. And I'm very happy to tell you that with the help of our colleagues in the House, in the budget last week, we were able to put close to $2 million in the Massachusetts budget to support the work of the Asian Commission, as well as studies at UMass Boston, and other ways to support our growing Asian community here around the Commonwealth. And as you pointed out, Mayor, we have a small but growing Asian community here in Fall River, and I would say that it punches well above its weight. You are all very well known, and we thank you particularly for all the jobs that you have brought to us. And the next speaker is a person who indeed has brought many, many jobs to us, And I'll turn it back to Jay to introduce him fully, but I just wanted to express our thanks for all you have done to Fall River. Thank you, David. Over to you, Jay. Oh, one more thing. The Asian Caucus has created a Shop Asian American Pacific Island Month. And we urge everyone during the month of May to support your local Asian business. Go into that restaurant or that nail salon, or buy a new mattress, or any one of the many places that you can go here in Fall River. And let everybody know that you are doing that, because Fall River has always welcomed immigrants, and that's what Fall River does. So please, shop American Asian Pacific Island Month. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jay.
Thank you, Rep. Schmidt. And now we want to welcome our next speaker, David Nguyen, owner and CEO of US Bedding, Inc.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's an honor for me to be here. My name is David Nguyen. I'm president and CEO of US Bedding. I came to the United States in 1982, and what a wonderful country. I can stand here to tell how beautiful America is, and you know, it can take me all day to tell, you know, everybody, and how amazing the city of Fall River is. So 15 years ago, I moved my business from Boston to Fall River, and I don't even know Fall River. I don't even come at one time in Fall River. But the more I am doing business in the city of Fall River, I know the people, to know the city, the more I'm in love with the city. And it's really, really amazing city. A few years ago, I have an offer from the state of Rhode Island and the state of South Carolina to move my factory there. But with the love of the city, the people here, I choose to stay. And with the help from Mr. Mayor and Mr. Ken Fiola, now I have the opportunity to expand my company. And another thing I can tell you, I have another friend who live in New York, and he already committed to open the factory in South Carolina. And I took him here. I showed him around the city of Fall River, the people here. And I took him to lunch here, and I showed him, and he really commit. And this year, he's going to invest $5 million in the factory here. And with that, he can bring in 50 or 100 good paying jobs to the city. So it is really honor to be in here, to be a piece, you know, to live and to work in the city like this. And with the leadership from Mr. Coogan, I think the city will get better and better. And I think I can feel it now. I can feel it now with this. So I really, you know, just overwhelming for me, and I hope it's everything from bottom of my heart to everybody. And I hope together we can build this amazing city with, you know, I can tell you, you know, all day long about how I love the history of this city is. I've been travel in a lot of city, a lot of country, and we never see a factory like we have in here with all the granite building. It's amazing. It's an amazing city. So thank you very much.
And now we'll welcome our next speaker, Regina Mark from Misum Restaurant, co-owner.
Good afternoon, everybody. And thank you for our mayor and all the representatives here, and also Jessica Wong. And today, to make today such a special event for the Asian American. As I'm looking up on all the flag flying, and I'm so proud to be American and as an American citizen. And I'm thankful to be here today, and well, to talk about a little bit about myself. I've been in this country close to 50 years, and I work in a family-owned restaurant in it called Misum. Misum means beautiful heart, and that's what we share with everybody in Fall River, and people who know us in as our local customer been coming for years and years. And besides our local customer, we had a lot of the people from out of state, and we make friends with all these people, and they welcome us, and they become our family, which is very nice. And I'm gonna make it short because my English is not too well. So anyway, with all this year, I've been in this country and I make a lot of friends, and they also become like my family. And I learned a lot from them, and plus I learned how to cook through all this year, and to serve the public and raise my family also. And besides, I'm learning all this for these people, for all the people, and each day, I just wanted to be. I'm so grateful to be here, and such an honor to represent the Chinese community. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, and want to say we love Fall River, and we chose Fall River as our home. And before I go, I want to say, no matter what color our skin is, and just have respect to one another, and be kind to one another. And thank you. May God bless everybody.
And now I'll welcome our next speaker, Will Sem.
Hello everybody, good afternoon. My name is William Sem. I have been a resident of Fall River for over 20 years. I am a Cambodian American descent. Today I would like to share and say thank you for this opportunity about my family and my experiences growing up in Fall River. My mother, like most Cambodians that at that time started immigrating to the U.S. as refugees back in 1979 after escaping the killing field and genocides of Cambodia. I grew up in a Forney Streets apartment, a Fall River housing development. Growing up in a single-parent household with 4 other siblings, at times life can be very stressful. One of the most challenging things that we had to deal with was language barrier, which made it hard to communicate with others in the city. For the most part, Fall River became home to my family and other families like mine that migrated from Cambodia to the U.S. Growing up in Fall River, I was very influenced by very great community leaders like teachers and community workers that sat down and listened to us. I would like to share my thoughts on what Fall River needs in the future for our youth, like programs and open facilities that provide skills and educations for their future to become productive citizens of Fall River. And I would like to take this moment to thank Mayor Coogan for the opportunity to listen and acknowledge this month for Asian American Heritage Month and hosting this beautiful event. Thank you.
And finally, I'd like to welcome Representative Carol Fiola and Representative Alan Sylvia to say a few words.
Thank you, Jay, and my colleague Rep Schmidt, who's on the Asian American Caucus, really had some great words. But growing up in this city, it just seems it's about time that we are here today to celebrate the Asian American community, as we were a few weeks ago to celebrate the Latino community and every community that we share, of every color, every race, because that is who we are. I grew up next door to the Tao family who owned Mark U. And Mrs. Tao was like an aunt growing up a little bit, you know. I'd visit with her, and I never saw her as anything else but my wonderful neighbor, Mrs. Tao. And that is what Fall River is. And the hate that has come about in the last several years, well, maybe always existed, I don't know. I'm not someone who had to bear the brunt of that. But I can assure you that here in the city of Fall River, I only see a melting pot of wonderful cultures, wonderful, very diverse backgrounds. And I want to celebrate, not only thank Jay for this and the diversity committee, but our Mayor Coogan, who is really the one who has been bringing together every group. And only when we continue to do that and understand and talk about each other's cultures and issues and problems and needs will we start to overcome the hate. So thank you all for bringing this forward. What an honor to be here, and I'm always available for anything you need. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Jay. And special thanks, of course, to our mayor. This is wonderful. And, you know, as we celebrate the diversity of our community, it's really important that we hear those stories. Those stories, you know, I know Ken Mark, who I've been going to the restaurant since we were in junior high school together. That family, and I didn't know all of that information, Regina. Yet you live right next door to our district office. So those stories are very important, not for just me to hear, but for those people who are watching, cable stations and local media. It's important that they hear those stories, the travels, you, sir, getting your business here and starting your business, and the importance of us visiting and making sure that we visit these businesses that have been devastated by the pandemic. So please be sure, those listening, to visit those establishments. You know, I always think of the cuisine, of course, when I look at the noodles. That lovely lady who I've known all my life, and when I think of the great Chinese food, and that's what many people think of. But there's so much more that you offer. We're blessed to all have you. Thank you all very much.
And that will conclude today's ceremony, but I do want to welcome anyone who wants to help raise the flags. Vincent, come over here.